Hey, you are listening to the Wealth Smart Families podcast. Today's episode, we get to interview Kiana Danials from InvestDiva.com. I was really excited to interview Kiana because she has done so many cool things. She's been featured all over Fox, Forbes, you name it. If it has to do with money and investing, she's been on it. And now she's on the Wealth Smart Families podcast. So we are very humbled by that. She's going to discuss strategies for families and grown-ups to take control of their money, managing their finances, managing their wealth management. How can they get started investing? What are the easiest things they can do to start building and growing a portfolio that can help them out for an entire lifetime? So I was really excited to interview her. And then guess what? I had a blast doing it. So I can't wait for you to hear it. Stay tuned. Let's go. All right, super excited to have Kiana Danial with us. And I met Kiana through a mastermind group that I am with ClickFunnels, and she's done some incredible things. And one of the first things that I noticed about her when I kind of met her through our Facebook mastermind group was I clicked on her page, and it was a page of her holding her daughter. And I was just like, this is it. We need this. It talks about investing. It talks about kids. I know she'd be perfect for our audience. And then I got to know her a little bit, and everything that she does, not just helping people manage money, manage wealth, how they can start doing some of their own investing. It's just a bunch of super cool stuff. So super excited to have her. Thanks for being here, Kiana.
Thank you so much for having me. And about that picture, by the way, I sometimes do get backlash. Oh, you're using your daughter. I'm like, sure.
Yeah, right.
Why not? I want her to learn about money.
Absolutely. I mean, well, and you and I have been talking. You know that we created a product. I mean, all this started from a product that I created, teaching my kids about money, and now we teach parents how to teach their kids about money. It's important. Kids should know about money.
Super important. And it's just the fact that people are like, oh my God, money is frowned upon. Why are you like using your kid for money? I'm like, no, money is a part of your life. Without it, you're dead. Like, this is not the gazillion years ago when you could just go out and shoot a deer and eat it for a week. This, like, you gotta have money, right?
I appreciate the analogy. I like it. So, yeah, I'm going to go back on track because I was about to go way off track. So, and I couldn't agree more. It's important for our kids. And as you and I were talking before, we started recording here. It's like, they don't teach this stuff in school. We need to teach the stuff to our kids. So it's our responsibility.
100%. Yeah.
So one of the things that I like, and, we made this transition within Wealth Smart Families from, we were helping parents teach their kids about money, but then we wanted to start helping the parents. How can they do more with what they have? How can they make more money? How can they build a passive residual income? How can they increase, what they have coming in every single month? So one of the things I really liked about your stuff is that, you're kind of like me. You're kind of, I don't want to say you're anti-money manager. You can correct me on that, but you want to teach people how to manage their own money and take control of their own finances, right?
I certainly am anti-money manager.
I just don't want to put those words in your mouth.
No, that is like my first thing that I got scammed. That's how this whole thing got started. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons why I got into this is like, hey, like, what's happening? Like, literally what happened is that, do you mind if I just go into the story as to what, because it's
that was my next question. So just do it.
I'm just like, oh my God, that's what it is. Like, I had no idea about finance. I was one of those families who never talk about money. It's like, money is not important. Money is not as important as education. It was like two different things. Education and money are two different things. And the thing is, they're actually, now I know that they come hand in hand. I went and studied like science and engineering, didn't know anything about investing or finance. 2008 happened. I accidentally traded the crash and I made money. I'm not going to get into how that happened, but I was scared. I was like, oh my God, this is cool, but all right, how can I get into this? Like, this is interesting. But of course I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I'm going to give my money to a pro. Mm-hmm. And right. Yeah, the pro came along. They're like, oh, okay, you need this amount of minimal investment. So I took out all of my savings and everything else that I was earning and put it in their fund. I was like, okay, can I get this out? They're like, well, like, they were very vague about it. I signed a bunch of contracts. I didn't even understand what it said. And then in the meantime, like, I look at my account, oh my God, all these commission fees, where's that going? Where's this going? And then like 5 years later, I got fired from my job and I'm like, I want that money. Right. Like, well, if you want the money back, yeah, you got to find like 75% penalty and this and this and that. I'm like, So like out of $100,000, I could get literally $15,000. And I was like, okay, I'm obviously not going to do that. So I
Right.
left it there. Years later, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take it out, because once I went to Wall Street and I realized actually money managers out underperform the market average, I'm like,
Mhm.
I'll get whatever it is out and I'll just manage it myself, because it's just, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more when it comes to that. And there's so many money managers whose primary income is based off the commissions they get from their
Exactly.
clients as opposed to their own investments. And it never made sense to me. And, just to tell you my own quick story of when I quit using money managers a long time ago, it was when the person that I was using, the financial planner I was using, had more money invested with me in my real estate than I had with him. And I'm like, what is that really telling you about, their confidence in their product and what it is that they sell and what is that they really do? So, I mean, he had his money
Wow.
invested with me in real estate, and that was during right around that same time frame, 2007, 2008. The crash was happening, and he's like, put the money in real estate, except for give me money to invest for you. I'm like, this doesn't quite add. I'm just gonna keep my money in real estate, and then you give me your money, and that was kind of how that worked out years and years ago. But I just never went back. I always believed in managing your own money and stuff that you understand.
Exactly. Because you know what? At the end of the day, nobody's going to care about your money more than you do. And
Correct.
once you know where your money's at, like you got to know, it's like the food that goes into your body. You got to know what's going to your body. What is like, where is your money? What is happening to it? And the thing is, like, people are intimidated because of course the media makes it sound intimidating and they don't want you to get into it because they want to be in charge. But once you get it, it's just like, oh, okay, that's
Right.
cool. And then like you just know. It's like riding a bicycle. It's like you just know it now. It's like
Right.
done. So
And and it turns into a game, and it can be fun. You can enjoy it. I know that you help educate people, and that's kind of one of the biggest fears. Like I don't mess around in the stock market personally, and it's because I don't completely understand it. So when you were teaching people to invest, how do you teach them? Where do you teach them to kind of get started and get that education where they can feel confident? Because a lot of people think, I don't want to go to school for 4 years to learn how to do this.
oh yeah, you absolutely don't need that much time.
Right.
It's so that's the thing. There are so many different reasons people think that uh, these can be super hard to understand. One of them is the misconception of thinking that in order to understand what to invest in, you need to understand math, which
Yep.
is very weird to me because actually an engineer by train and I suck at math, and that's the reason why I'm not an engineer anymore. But literally, I've never used math in any kind of my investing. Majority, it's just as you said it before, it's about understanding it. It's about
Hmm.
psychology. The markets are about stories. Do you understand stories? You do,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah. Yeah.
then you should
Yeah.
be fine. So it's
Oh.
like literally like Netflix is one of my, let's talk about Netflix. You know
Hmm.
Netflix?
Yes.
Right? So
Absolutely.
Netflix is, I don't know, like 4 years ago, I was watching Netflix. I'm like, oh my God, this is cool. And then I saw a bunch of my other friends were watching Netflix. Oh my God, this is cool. So I just thought about it. All right. So I looked into it. I'm like, oh my gosh, is just kind of expanding to different markets. I just read the stories, what Netflix is doing. I saw that I'm using it. I saw the potential of it. It was just literally understanding the psychology and saying, oh, this is innovation. This is going somewhere. I was like, you know what? Let me, instead of going and subscribe to Netflix, like I can do that, like I can just borrow it from somebody else. I'll go buy a bunch of Netflix stocks.
Hmm.
And guess what? That Netflix stock I think it was above, now I don't have the exact numbers right now, but it was about 2,000% performance over the 4 years. For example, Chipotle, right? Chipotle, you remember, like they're big. I love
Yeah.
Chipotle. And
Yep.
then they had this, they made people sick. They had the virus going around.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
then everybody got scared. Of course, the media is like, oh, Chipotle, da, 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 da. Noise, hype, FOMO, all these things. And I was like, oh, let me think out of the box. Chipotle is super big. They have real estate all over all over America,
Hmm.
and they got skin in the game. They're not gonna make this bring them down. And their stock price is just literally on sale right now. Let me just go buy like 2 shares of Chipotle
Hmm.
while everybody was just getting scared.
Right.
Again, no math. it was just like thinking, well, oh, look at that. Let me just go buy 2 stocks of
Right.
that.
Right.
Again, another like
They were.
3,000% income. So that is what, like, whatever you understand, just get started. Instead of buying that new Apple phone, just go buy an iPhone stock. That's it.
There you go. Buy the stock. Yeah, that reminds me of a story years ago. I think it was Warren Buffett's story, but I can't remember. But he talked about stories and investing in stories and how when he was getting started, I think it was Warren Buffett, but how he went to his wife, or his wife came home with pantyhose that she bought at like Walgreens, and she loved them and thought they're amazing. And he's like, well, I'm going to buy that stock because you seem to think it's really cool. And it wasn't that he went and read their annual report and dug that deep into looking at the numbers. So, I've been taught, I mean, I've been around the entrepreneurship world for quite some time, and I've had different investment, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, experts talk to me about different things and different systems. And like sometimes they're like red arrows, green arrows. Like, do you ever come across systems like that? And what are your general thoughts on them versus kind of what you're just saying, just using kind of common sense investing?
Right. So obviously right now I'm oversimplifying it a little bit
Right.
because I just want people to get into that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, so there are there are some things that you definitely need to learn. Like first, the most important thing that people just forget about is risk management. And by risk management, I'm not saying, oh my God, go create this like massive, I mean, yeah, you have to create a Excel sheet. I'm not going to sugarcoat it here, but like it's like your life. You go and say, hey, this is my income. This is my mortgage. This is my lease. Okay, this is how much I have left. I have to put this much in emergency fund. This is my personality. You literally go through a questionnaire. Okay, yeah, I'm going to get a heart attack every time the markets drop. So maybe I don't want to take that much risk. So maybe I won't invest in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Maybe I'll invest in something that is less risky. And then once you understand what is your ability to take risk, what is your willingness to take risk, then you can just, you know where you stand, and then you can just go shopping. So the red arrows, the green and bull and bear and all these things, yes, I do take a look at them, but I don't day trade.
Yeah.
I tried it before and I blew out my account, and it's not my personality, especially after I became a mom. I completely stopped it, even though it was one of my products on Investiva, and I lost a bunch of students who came to Investiva because of my day trading strategies, which are pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, you change, people change. And I'm
Right.
like, I'm not 25 anymore. I'm like, I'm a mom. I'm like, I have a family. I don't want to do that. So I don't do it anymore. And that's okay. But I still do technical analysis. I look at the prices, and again, no math needed. But
Right.
once you learn it, it's just super simple.
And talking about that, and we're getting a little more technical, and that's, I kind of led us down that rabbit hole of being a little more technical, but that's something that kind of comes with time as you grow and build your portfolio anyways. And one of the things I heard you saying there is that, I mean, kind of like backing it all the way up to the beginning, and something that would relieve a lot of stress from a lot of people in a lot of households is understanding their current family revenue and expenses, their current income versus their outgo. I think a lot of people like to cover their eyes when, the money comes in and the money goes out every single month. But by creating that spreadsheet, that dreaded spreadsheet, which I'm sure you provide a copy of somewhere.
I do. It's a template. Just put the money in. That's
right.
all.
You put it in, and you tell yourself and you show yourself these hard truths. You're going to relieve one of those. I know I always refer to these sandbags on your shoulders of stress that sometimes people have it, but a lot of it is that they're just closing their eyes and they're blind to it. And by just putting it down there and getting in front of you and owning that that's your situation, then you've got something you can start making changes from, or you understand your disposable discretionary income to go start building something else. So I understand, going way back to the beginning, kind of what you said is it's really just basic financial management skills up front for somebody to get started.
100%. And look, like when you go to the doctors and they run a test on you, do you say, hey, don't tell me what's happening with me? No, you want to know because you want to take the right actions. If there is something to fix, you want to fix it. The same goes with your finances. And the thing is, though, you don't have to become a doctor to understand it. It's way simpler. It's like way simpler.
Yeah, we occasionally make it sound hard, but no, really, it's kind of like a self-diagnostic test of your finances to understand.
Doc or something.
Right, where it is. So, and then you just start, I mean, really you're
Yeah, I mean,
saying,
let me tell you how I
oh,
know, because
yeah.
I told you how I started and I didn't know
Mhm.
anything about it. I started trading. I was like, okay, I'm going to take my money away from the pro, but I was scared. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to become a financial planner. So I went and became a certified financial planner. I took the CFP. And as I was learning it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this can be taught in a lot less intimidating, crazy manner.
Mhm.
And that literally is what I offer now with InvestDiva is certified financial planning for a third grader, literally like in a way that everyone can understand. So it doesn't have to be that hard. You don't have to like bring out your calculator every 2 seconds. It's
Right.
automated. You know how much money is coming and you know how much money is going out. It's just there. Like
Yeah.
it's not rocket science. It just isn't.
No, I mean, there are all kinds of different strategies. I know that, you and I were discussing earlier as well that you kind of became this expert within the cryptocurrency world, which probably takes a little bit more education, but it's something that you got into and it's something that you learned as part of your journey.
Yeah, I mean, I've been evolving. I don't know everything. People
Right.
ask me about different things. And then, yeah, I was completely skeptical of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I did not touch it for the longest time, even though a bunch of my friends, like back in 2011 when Bitcoin was $11, my
Right.
friend in Switzerland was like, hey, buy Bitcoin. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I also
But
stumbled then.
I stumbled into it. The company asked me to do research on blockchain and it's a personal story how I was like, wow, this is interesting. I want to get into it. And I mean, you don't have to crypto if you don't get it, don't get it. If you want to learn about it, go buy my book. But
Right.
um, you first have to understand your risk tolerance, really.
Right. And yeah, and I know within your website, investdiva.com, you have a lot of resources and you talk about, a lot of your own findings and the things that you learn by doing your research because that's what you do now. So with the people that are just looking at this and they're like, it is time. I need to start taking control of my own finances. I need to understand what the heck my money's doing, where it is, how much I'm spending, how to start investing. Because unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be, we want to help people not get a retirement job because that just doesn't make sense. Um, a lot of people get intimidated by two major things. And we discussed this a little bit earlier as well, but I'm going to bring them up here so people can hear it from you on how they can kind of get over these major objections. But they look at, yeah, I want to do this with my own money, but I'm going to have to make a major investment of my own money, but even more so my own time learning how to do this. I don't have enough time. So when somebody's getting started, how much time should they start allocating towards getting educated and then maintenance of creating their portfolio, their systems?
Right. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie. There is going to be some time necessary to learn this.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I've put it together, it's actually 8 weeks and it's 30 minutes per day. So it's in the time that your kids nap. You can just log in, learn about it. And in eight weeks, you're going to have an understanding of how to start your portfolio, what to invest in, what your risk tolerance is, what your willingness is, and then start trading, not trading, start investing is two
Right.
different things. And take it from there. Then from the maintenance part, so that is something that people think there's this misconception again from the day trading
Mm-hmm.
crowd that you got to be stuck to your screen all day. And that in fact is the biggest mistake you can make if you're listening to the news all the time,
Mm-hmm.
because the news, as we all know it, is just about hype. It's about clickbait.
It's about
They just
ratings.
make a massive major deal out of things that are not major deals because that's how they make money. They want you to be engaged. So the more you click on these stories, the more you're going to get emotional. And emotional investing is, yeah, that's what's going to probably screw over your account. So what I do is still to this day,
Mm-hmm.
only once a week on Tuesdays, I go live with my crowd and I manage my portfolio. I look at the stuff. I look at the big picture. I'm like, okay, this is where the economy is. This is what the president tweeted today. This is what where the cycle of businesses. This
Sure.
is what the specific like top picks that I have. And okay, I want to modify it, or no, it still looks like last week. I'm gonna keep it. So once a week, 1 hour per day, 1 hour per week. That is how
Yeah.
long I spend on my investment portfolio.
Right.
And it's been doing great. And I don't need any more than that.
And, you know,
And I think you also mentioned the amount of money you want to put in at the beginning, which is
well,
another.
yeah, and I want to and I want to talk about that here in just a second, but I want to just put into perspective, what you just said, because one of my superpowers, people don't know this about me, is I'm really good at just head math really fast. And I figured out a half hour a day over 8 weeks is 20 hours.
Oh, you see,
Like,
you are a math whiz.
yeah, right. So I can add and subtract and multiply really quick. That I have going for me. Don't put letters in math,
I
then I get
can't do
confused.
that. Like I literally can't do that.
So, but it's 20 hours, and you think about how much time have you spent getting good at the job that you have right now, that if you quit next week, it's not going to pay you the week afterwards. How much time did you spend going to school for that job that's helping you pay off your current student loans? It's 20 hours. It's a half hour a day. We all have a half hour a day. So yes, sorry, I just like to drill that into people because it is there. You can find it. You want to make these major changes in your life, you have a half hour a day. So getting to the money piece of it. So when you got started, I know you said you got started with a, well, you tell me how much should people get started with when they're starting out? I know a lot of it's individualistic, but where have you seen people start, and where have you seen them go?
Right. So, I mean, I have been through so much that I don't want to actually bring my story in.
Right.
I first started with $10,000, doubled it, then I lost $15,000, and then like gave the money manager 100,000. It's been crazy. But once I lost it all, I actually restarted from scratch, and I was like, okay, I'm scared. I'm gonna start small,
Mm-hmm.
and I put only $500 in an account, but I contributed to it every month.
There you go. That's the
So
big piece.
that was it. So that $500 account, you know where it went in 3 years. I got married after that,
Mm-hmm.
and I continued contributing, and I continued to grow. And my Netflix stocks within that, and eventually, actually in 2017, what is it? It's 2019. Yeah, it was when we wanted to buy a house in a new area in Connecticut, which was like really good
Mm-hmm.
schools. We were just getting ready to get pregnant, and we were short a decent amount if we wanted to afford the house that we wanted to afford. And that account, that $500 account that had grown to $64,000,
Mm-hmm.
that is where I took the money out to help with the down payment. It was not the whole down payment. The house was massive, but
Sure.
that account, I have multiple accounts now, but that account was the one that actually helped us with the down payment. So, I mean, no matter how small your account is, if you just want to test the waters, do it. If you don't want to put in so much, do it, but continue and
Right.
just keep on adding to it and keep on growing it.
And that's where that Excel spreadsheet, that scary Excel spreadsheet that you help provide people with, comes into play, because you understand what you have for disposable discretionary income every single month, what you can start putting towards it, and that contribution. And then it also forces you not just to see your own finances, but you get educated for a relatively small amount, because now you're looking at the stuff, and you might not be
And
going out and buying.
it's for your family's
Right.
future security. Like, this is something that you want to be involved in, because at the end of the
Exactly.
day, like it's your family. It's for you. You got to understand what's happening.
Right, right. I couldn't agree more. So, so if you were going to, I mean, we kind of talked about getting started, but I know you've got a really good masterclass out there, and we're going to share a link with that here shortly. But as far as like your 3 secrets, people getting started, you want to just give like a brief overview on that, and then we can kind of like share with them where they can go to get the free masterclass as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go through the secrets that I will share in this masterclass that we actually put together. And the reason why I really want people, like I came today on your podcast because the time is actually kind of sensitive, because we are heading towards a recession. And I believe that once the markets go down, that is going to be a great opportunity to start investing. So I'm trying to educate as many people as possible before the recession, so that
Mm-hmm.
once it hits, people know what to do instead of panicking.
Right, right.
And every time it's just super important. That's how I got to crypto too. It was when the bubble was happening. Everybody was just buying. Nobody knew what it was. The education is super important. so that you are ready for when it's time to just start buying. So the three secrets that I talk about in this masterclass is number one, why being a math whiz actually does not help and it can actually hurt you with becoming a successful investor. A lot of people think that they have to understand mathematics in order to invest, but so quick fact, most engineers actually fail miserably when it comes to investing. So in this masterclass, I show you why. Secret number two is how to start with only a small initial investment that I talked about right now. So I'm going to go through that. I have screenshots of that profile, show you exactly how I grew that $500 account to what it became. And actually 2 weeks ago, I started another $500 account just because I wanted to show people that this is possible throughout the business cycles.
Right.
So I started a new $500 account to grow it in the next few years. So, I mean, if you jump on right now, you can see how that is going to grow as well.
So you're doing that publicly so people can watch?
I'm doing that for our mastermind group. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So if you get this course, you're going to get access to that group as well. Yeah.
Excellent.
So, and the secret number three is just, the time part that you mentioned is like it's the 1 hour per week part-time job you can do while your kids nap or instead of watching Netflix. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And yeah, and I know we talked about this too, is that you're offering this masterclass for free to all of our listeners, which is super cool. So we appreciate that and thank you. And I'm going to give them the link here now, and then we'll also put in the show notes, and it'll be all over our pages just so people have it, because this stuff is so important. People need to understand it. They need to know it. So the link for it is wealthsmartfamilies.com/Kiana. And that's Kiana. I got that right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure. All right. So it'll be in the show notes as well.
It's Diana with a K. Let's put it that way.
There you go. So, all right. Well, I really appreciate you being on today. Is there anything else you would like to add or tell our listeners before we go ahead and sign off here?
No, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate what you're doing, because like when you told me, like when we met at the mastermind group, and you were like, oh my God, this is so important. And it's like there are not enough educators in this field. And it's just the reason why we are seeing so much struggle and in our society right now is just a lack of education, lack of talks about money, lack of all this. So I really appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you having me on your show. And yeah, I can't wait to help your audience.
Oh, I appreciate that. And yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more. A lot of people like to blame a lot of outside circumstances, but if we could just get people properly educated and they could take care and stand on their own, yeah, so many good positive things could come from it, especially if we can get towards more of the young people and more adults we can help. The more kids that are going to be helped naturally along the way. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing more things from investdiva.com, and we'll be keeping an eye out for you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.